Every team rearranged the furniture across the association, but the question remains, which team has what it takes to win it all? Hello everyone and welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Evan Lasek alongside Hunter Pitcoff. The NBA offseason has gone by faster than ever before, but we're here to break it all down. Hunter, let me ask you, which team is made out best in the NBA?
I mean, the rich keep getting richer, Evan. The Los Angeles Lakers, who won the championship, are now better. They steal Montrezl Harrell from the downtown rival in the LA Clippers for dirt cheap money for a guy who was sixth man of the year. He's going to make an immediate impact for the Lakers. They get Dennis Schroeder from the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't really have that playmaking guard who can really dribble, pass, and shoot. Schroeder's that guy, and he was the runner-up for sixth man of the year, so that's an immediate upgrade on the bench. You got Marc Gasol there. Of course, his brother Pau, maybe he'll get his jersey retired in the rafters one day. But looking at Marc Gasol, he fits really nicely alongside LeBron Anthony Davis because he's a great passer for a big. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year winner, and he can spread the floor, shot over 38% from three last season. So can do a little bit of everything. It fits perfectly in that starting lineup. They also get Wesley Matthews because they traded Danny Green. Matthews is a carbon copy of him. They're basically like the same player. So that's completely right. It neutralizes each other. And they also re-signed KCP and Markieff Morris, two guys that really contributed to that playoff run. And it's crazy to think, but the Lakers might be, champions again. They might be repping some merch. So I think that this is, a team that got better. And the fact that the best team in the league had the best offseason, that's scary for the rest of the NBA.
I completely agree. The one thing the Lakers were missing all of last season was, just as you said, was a guard. Danny Green's gone. They brought in Dennis Schroeder. He's a really good player. And to think the Lakers did all of that without a starting guard, adding him to the mix with AD and LeBron. Hopefully AD returns this offseason. I really like the Lakers' chances here. But let me ask you, what is the team that probably should have done more this offseason that you're just not that impressed with?
First off, let me fix my hair because I'm very particular about that.
Of course, you take your time.
But I can't fix the Atlanta Hawks. Now, they had the most money in free agency, but I do not think they spent it on the right players. Danilo Gallinari, he's a good player. Bogdan Bogdanovic, I think he's a little overrated. I think he's more of a guy who puts up good numbers on a bad team. They also get Chris Dunn. But I think their big issue is that they still are terrible on defense. You see right here, 27th in defensive efficiency last season, and they did basically nothing to address that. The offense wasn't really the issue. They have one of the most dynamic offensive players in the NBA in Trae Young. And then getting all these veteran guys, what does that do for their future? Because they have guys like DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish and Onyeka Okongwu. They're just going to be sitting on the bench the whole time, letting these other guys play more minutes. Everyone's really excited about the Hawks. I think we need to slow down a bit on Atlanta, though, because I still don't think they're a playoff team. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. I didn't really love what they did this offseason. I think they could have been a little bit wiser with how they spent their money.
I completely agree. They have their guard of the future in Trae Young, but defense has still been a problem for the Hawks, and I think they really should have addressed that more in the offseason. But what is the sneaky good team this offseason that had a crazy good offseason and is kind of flying under the radar right now?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Pistons might actually make the playoffs. Now, I don't love their offseason, but getting guys like Jeremy Grant and Mason Plumlee from the Denver Nuggets, they're basketball players. They know how to play the game. The Pistons don't have a lot of those guys, so bringing in two guys that can make an immediate impact does make a difference. And they had 3 first-round picks in Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, and then Sadiq Bey. I think these are 3 rookies that can come in right away and make an impact. Sekou Doumbouya, their second-year player, I really liked him coming into last year's draft, and I think he's going to take a step forward. Has very similar traits to a Pascal Siakam, who we saw won Most Improved Player and was All-NBA last season. And, of course, Blake Griffin didn't play really last year. If he's healthy, the last time we saw him, he was an All-NBA player. And Derrick Rose, of course, has made a miraculous comeback from a lot of the turmoil and injuries that he's had. He's become a really good player, so watch out for the Pistons. I think people are sleeping on him. And then looking at the Portland Trail Blazers, they barely got into the playoffs last year, but I think they're going to be a top 5 seed in the West this season. They get Robert Covington, the perfect 3-and-D player that the Trail Blazers needed. They also bring back Enes Kanter, who can provide low post scoring. They also bring in Derrick Jones, freak athlete from the Miami Heat. Maybe he shouldn't have won the dunk contest, but he's still a pretty good player. They get back Rodney Hood, who, they did re-sign him technically, but he also missed all of last season with an injury. And then you look at Gary Trent Jr. He doesn't have to guard LeBron James for 48 minutes in a playoff series anymore. He's going to take a step forward. I think he's going to be one of the front runners for Sixth Man of the Year. They bring back Carmelo Anthony. And, of course, they have one of the best backcourts in Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. They're going to have a full healthy season of Zach Collins, a full healthy season of Yusuf Nurkic. I think the Portland Trail Blazers are going to get back toward the top of the Western Conference standings.
I completely agree. I think the Trailblazers, they brought back a lot of players. A lot of players are still returning. And I think Dame Dolla is just one of the best point guards I've seen in a while. He made it very clear in this bubble season. But Detroit Pistons, I like what you said. They got a lot of returning players. People still count out Blake Griffin and D. Rose. They had a good combination there. And I really want to see how they do this upcoming season. But on the last point here, post-offseason transitions and all the acquisitions, who is the most overrated team in your opinion going into Game 1?
All right, I'm going to look at the camera when I say this. The Golden State Warriors are the single most overrated team in the NBA, and they are not making the playoffs. I'm sick and tired of people thinking this is a championship team. I hate to say it, but Klay Thompson, that's a big loss. Do we not forget this is one of the greatest shooters to ever touch a basketball, one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA, and just one of the best NBA players, period. This guy is really good, and losing him really hurts the homeostasis of this team. Outside Steph Curry, who can shoot the ball on that team? Nobody. I mean, Andrew Wiggins has been inefficient his entire career and can't shoot outside 15 feet. Nor can Kelly Oubre. You're expecting James Wiseman to be the next Chris Bosh his rookie season. That's not going to happen. Draymond Green has fallen off a little bit. I still think he's a good player. He'll have a bounce-back season, but he's not the same Draymond that we once saw that was Defensive Player of the Year. And the bench. The Warriors had a great bench and reliable bench throughout the entire dynasty that they have. They don't have that anymore. Are you kidding me? They don't. And also, too, they're terrible on defense. One of the worst in the NBA last season. And I don't expect them to be that much better this season because they have guys who can't play defense. So with a more stacked Western Conference, I'm saying it right now. The Golden State Warriors are not making the playoffs. I'm sick and tired of people saying it.
That is a super hot take, but I really like that there. They took Wiseman in the draft. I think they finally got a big guy there that could really help them. That's really the only positive thing they've gotten out of this offseason. Klay Thompson going down, you can't replace him with Kelly Oubre.
No.
That two completely different players.
Yes.
Steph's coming back from an injury. They're just going to cover Steph. They have no offense outside of him right now. Their defense has always struggled, but I'm going to have to kind of disagree. I think they maybe sneak in as the last seed in the West just because it is the Warriors. They always find a chance. Maybe something happens, but we'll find out along the way.
I mean, it's going to be Steph Curry that gets into the playoffs.
Only Steph Curry.
If he has 2016 MVP level season again, possibly, and I think he's going to be terrific. This is no diss to Steph Curry. Let me just say that on record. But this team is just not that great outside of him. It doesn't fit Steve Kerr's offense, which relies on passing, motion, and the three-point shot. So it's just a bunch of random pieces put together, guys who haven't really played a whole lot of minutes together. And in a stacked Western Conference, I just don't see it happening. I don't, Evan.
I completely get that. Let's go. I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. Hopefully it's a full season, and we can just see these guys ball out again.
That's true.
That's going to wrap up our NBA offseason review here on Penn State Sports Night. For Hunter Pitcoff, I'm Evan Lasek. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.